Hi peoples, how are you all? I hope you guys had a nice Christmas. I know here in the UK a lot of people were forced to change their plans last minute, but I hope whatever the situation, you've had a nice few last days. Guess I am recording this before Christmas, but it's post-Christmas, definitely post-Christmas. There's nothing Christmassy about this video. Which actually, to be fair, there isn't anything even remotely Christmassy about this video. In fact, the lighting in the artwork that I'm drawing today is kind of, sunset on the beach kind of style, so not even remotely festive. It's Naruto fan art. Woo! Specifically fan art of my favourite ship pretty much ever, Kakashi and Guy. I've drawn these two a number of times in the past, one quite recently. In fact, I think I've got a Speedpaint, so that'll appear in the top corner hopefully if I work out how to do that, or I'll just link it below so you can have a comparison. However, there is no voiceover in that video, and so I thought I would take this opportunity to gush about how brilliant these two are as a couple, and you have to sit here. Obviously you don't have to sit here if you don't know who these are because you've never watched Naruto, or you don't really care about listening to me talk about all the reasons why they're great as a couple. Feel free to mute me and put some music on in the background and just enjoy the artwork. However, I think everyone who has seen Naruto and is still listening would agree that these two have one of the best friendships in the whole series. And there are a number of signs, I personally think, that these two are really meant to be together, whether it's just platonically or romantically. Whoop. If you've never seen Naruto, the whole next bit I'm about to say probably won't make much sense, but if you've never seen Naruto, seriously I suggest you mute because 90% of this video is me rambling about this adorable couple. Essentially, in Naruto though, there are kind of repeating reincarnations of people, but also repeating reincarnations of particular friendships. So there's a number of friendships where you have like a dark or evil character and a light or good character to contrast them, and they're best friends until something happens and the dark character becomes horribly evil and runs away and usually blows up a lot of stuff. Some such pairs are Indra and Ashura, Madara and Hashirama, Orochimaru and Jiraiya, which I think is one people forget, and Sasuke and Naruto. And if you look at Kakashi and Obito, you can sort of see how those two are one of these friendships, particularly given all the parallels Kakashi draws between Obito and Naruto and himself and Sasuke. Obviously, you could consider Kakashi and Guy to be one of these friendships, that didn't really work, but that argument's a bit weirder, and the same points sort of apply. So assuming we are talking about Kakashi and Obito being one of these light-dark pairs, there's kind of a weird phenomenon here, which is that Kakashi is the character most similar to Sasuke and all the other evil characters that you see, in that he is moody, he is naturally talented, and he doesn't like Obito in the slightest and finds him rather annoying. Whereas Obito is upbeat, sickeningly optimistic, and pretty much never gives up on anything. And yet, Obito is the one who goes very, very evil. Warning, Naruto spoilers, oops. And Kakashi really never deviates from, his duty to the village and trying to be a genuinely decent person, and it doesn't really seem to make sense. Obviously there's a number of logical reasons for this, and you can take any one that you like, but I do have a favourite. And the first one, that explains at least half of it, is that Obito is an Uchiha. And Uchihas are known for, they have very deep love, and because of that they also have very deep hatred. And so when he has the person he cares about most in the world ripped away from him, he kind of goes a bit psycho. And that sort of makes sense when you think about it that way. But it doesn't really explain why Kakashi doesn't go evil, because as we've seen with Orochimaru, you don't have to be an Uchiha to go evil, and I think in the real world, we can all acknowledge that some people who've been through some traumatic experiences can turn into horrible people. Sometimes they don't, but everyone has a capacity for evil, and yet Kakashi doesn't, despite having one of the most tragic backstories in the entire anime. And that is not an easy feat, because it's a very tragic anime. He's probably only beat out by pretty much all the Uchihas. And Yet at no point does he kind of snap and be like, right, I'm done with this, I don't like this village. He doesn't even, like, just go off and live in a hut on his own. He continues to serve this village in which everyone he loves ever has pretty much died. So that's fun. Now, obviously, there are a number of explanations for this as well, and I personally have a favourite one. The kind of sort of cheesy explanation is, well, Kakashi's just like a good person and it's kind of deep in his morals, and he does have he has a very strong moral compass, and we're showing this repeatedly. However, when all these tragic events are happening, he's like 9 years old, so they're shaping his personality and his morals. People aren't born inherently good or evil, which would imply that there's something that's making him interpret these tragic events as a motivation to do good and to create light in the world where there's darkness, instead of just lash out against everybody. I mean, when Obito dies, you would think that his response might be to go, he tried to do the good thing for 5 minutes and 5 minutes later his best friend dies. You might think that that would make him go, nope, I'm done with this, I'm gonna go back to being horrible, rule-bound, if people die, because there's nothing they can do to avoid it. And he doesn't. That doesn't happen. And I think lots of these tragic events that do happen, particularly what happened to Rin, could have, really wrecked his personality, because he was quite young when that happened. I have done the maths once, and I do think Kakashi is about 4 years younger than everybody else in his class, because he's 9 when he gets Jonin, and Obito's 13 at the time. So unless Obito is just much older than everybody else, like, Kakashi is the baby of the class, and, I mean, they're all child soldiers, which is quite depressing. But, moving on. So why Kakashi didn't go evil? And I think that it's because he has something that none of the other dark side characters seem to have, and that is Guy. And Guy is a survivor. Guy has never died. He's always been there for Kakashi. And even though Kakashi tries to push him away, he's always there, he's always trying to look out for him, and Guy set his life goal to be better than Kakashi, so there's a part of Kakashi that knows that Guy needs him around. And to be fair, Guy is a very strong, resilient person. If Kakashi died, he probably would have been fine when he was younger. But, there's a part of Kakashi that knows that Guy needs him, and it's one of the things that his father said to him was that, Guy was going to be a great shinobi one day, and Guy's one of his few classmates who's still alive, one of his few friends that, I think pretty much the only person he knew before Obito died who is still alive to the end of the anime. And I think having that positive influence there might have really been what saved him. Now, obviously, if you take, groups such as Naruto and Sasuke, or Madara and Hashirama, they had each other. Like, Naruto genuinely cared about Sasuke a lot. But the difference between the way Naruto cares about Sasuke and the way Guy cares about Kakashi is Naruto's primary goal was to be better than Sasuke, and his secondary goal was, love Sasuke like a brother. Like, he didn't show the affection in the same way that Guy does. Guy and Kakashi are the kind of people who, while they're eternal rivals, which kind of sounds like competition is the most important part to their relationship, but really, the minute one of them is feeling down, the other, will do things to fix that. Their competitions are more about having fun and spending time together, or at least evolve to be that way over time, rather than, I must be better than this other person because my self-worth depends on it. Which I think is one of the reasons why characters like Sasuke separate themselves from Naruto, because while Sasuke knows he cares about Naruto being better than him feels like a threat, whereas I don't think Guy being better than Kakashi ever did feel like a threat, because he could see how hard he'd worked, and they look after each other. And I just think that's maybe what does it, and that's maybe why Kakashi didn't go down that dark path. Obviously, you can kind of look at it and say that Kakashi and Guy were like the dark evil, the evil-good friendship for their generation, and maybe Obito wasn't part of that at all, and it was actually, Kakashi being the darker side of the relationship, and Guy being, the sunlight side. But even if this is the case, it still comes down to the whole, their dynamic is different to all these other friendships, because they genuinely care about each other more than they care about who's the best. And I think that's just, it's one of the reasons why I love them together, because whatever's going on, Guy's main goal is to beat Kakashi, but he doesn't take advantage of the times when Kakashi is down. In fact, he frequently begs for Kakashi to be removed from the Anbu, despite the fact that that's training him up to be more highly skilled than Guy at a much faster rate, because he doesn't want him to get hurt, and he cares about him, and he doesn't want him to become some dark killing machine, because he cares about him. And it's just, it's beautiful, and I love it. Also, if that kind of argument isn't enough to sway you on it, I mean, just watch some of the episodes where they're together. They have the best dynamic. The way Kakashi, teases Guy by pretending to act cool and pretending not to listen when clearly he's listening to everything Guy says. And the way Kakashi apologises to Guy after he gets mad at him during Lee's match in the Chunin exams, because he doesn't like that he hurt him. Guy challenging Kakashi to competitions whenever he knows Kakashi's down, or he needs a distraction. He supports Kakashi with his potential promotion to Hokage, even though that'll mean that he'll never beat Kakashi, really. Kakashi will always be better than him, and he supports him the whole way because he cares about him. And that is just beautiful. And I am going on a complete tangent, and oh my gosh, this video is 11 minutes long. Okay, I'm gonna cut it down. Don't worry, I've got this. Point is, they are adorable. Just watch any episodes where they're together. I'm sure there's a list online somewhere, and you will see what I mean. So, the art. I got here eventually. I might have to cut something out of that previous long ramble to make space for this, or just have a bit of a longer video. So I was originally inspired by a cute image I found on Pinterest of a cute gay couple dancing, and I was like, right, I want to use this for something. And then I was like, which gay couples do I really ship that I haven't drawn in a while? And essentially I was just like, you know what, let's just do Kakashi and Guy again, because so cute. And so I did that, and I personally think it's a massive improvement from my last attempt to draw these two together, because firstly, my last two attempts have been in the exact same pose, and this one I just think is so good. I think my art's come a really long way over lockdown, and I'm really proud of that. I'm particularly proud of the lighting on this one. I think it's really cute. Also, there's obviously room for improvement on the placement of the hands. One of Guy's hands looks a bit like a fish, but I think I get bonus points for A, picking a new pose, and B, the lighting, so we're gonna zoop over that. Obviously, this was another great example of it's never too late to change the image, even once you've done everything else, because once I finished all the shading on this piece, I was suddenly like, you know what, Kakashi's entire arm is just a bit too big and weird looking, and so I moved the entire thing at the last minute and reshaded and recoloured that whole area, and I think it looks so much better now. I think I'm also getting much better at drawing Guy's hair. I'm aware that blunt fringes are not a strength of mine, but I think this one looked alright in the end, and altogether I'm just really happy with how the piece turned out, and I hope you like it too. I'm really out of time now, because this is going to be like a 15-minute long video if I'm not careful, so please leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Bye!